and skin mask people to give the illusion that it's business as usual. And
Damn.
some of them, they
Right.
can't even, they so conspicuous by their absence that something has to be up
Yeah, we heard
because
that from
these,
Hillary Clinton.
yeah, because these media hogs, that's what they are. They gluttons for the spotlight, but they do nefarious things to hold positions of power, and it be belligerent to the people across the land. So now you have to create a structure to a scaffolding around a empire before you start disassembling it, so that you can keep the people from panicking while they watching Rome fall.
Damn, this shit crazy.
So they've been watching scaffolding around major locations throughout DC for the last 5 years.
Uh-huh.
But on the TV, they steady running these political narratives from these recording studios as if they in the Senate and Congress,
Yeah.
if they in the White House, right? And you look out the White House window and you see a whole different scenery than every White House before, you know something ain't right.
Right. Right.
You see gaps in the corner where the walls don't touch, you know something ain't right.
Look, they would shoot. Look, I know you ain't lying, Rod. They built a replica White House right here on the boardwalk, and they shoot to sit there right there with 50 of them they shooting they built rebuilt a whole identical White House, and they shoot. Man, I'm gonna go over there and film that shit one day over there on the boardwalk. Yeah, they got it blocked out. They shoot presidential shit like it's real shit there at that spot.
Yeah.
By Boxdale Air Force Base, on next to Boxdale Air Force Base. Yeah,
So
man.
if the people want to go back and see a page that's been chronicling the closed DC for years,
Uh-huh.
it's a YouTube page called Nancy Drew.
Okay.
Nancy Drew been going around filming scaffolding around the infrastructure for the last 5 years, showing you that the stuff they telling us on TV don't match the narrative that they giving us in the news.
Right.
And some of us watch her, but most of us we don't believe that the news would tell us misinformation. So therefore, we disregard what the actual boots on the ground, real live time intel coming from a lady with her phone, filming walking down the street with all of these scaffolds up, these big old fences around state buildings. It was being liquidated. It was being determined if we're going to demolish it or turn it into a museum of sorts,
Hmm.
you know? So all of them things is going into the excavation of the tunnels that was under the White House. Where did they go? Who houses did they stop? You know, why was they connected to that house? Did they have cameras in the tunnel to see who came through the tunnel? All of that stuff was being investigated during the Trump administration,
Uh-huh.
right? So when the Biden administration come in, they tell you um, that the vote was rigged. They know what they talking about because they got it on video.
Damn. That's just. It's just a
And the
criminal.
video
It's a
camera
criminal,
so out
man.
cold is literally looking over the dude's shoulder while he's hacking, showing you what he doing.
Damn.
And then the other angle is showing you his face. They know who
Damn.
he is. He was intelligence. He was being controlled by them three-letter agencies from around the world. The intelligence agencies, the spy rings, has been the source to figure out how to control the narrative for them by going into the community. They send people that look like you and they extract the information to know who's the big deal in the neighborhood,
Right.
right? We know who the chief gonna be because when he in elementary school, all of the kids go home and tell their mama about this kid.
Right. Right.
And
Okay.
all of these
Makes sense.
mamas wanting to see who this kid is coming to the school functions because he do whatever he do so well. They want to see for themselves.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah, that happened. That was happening when I was coming up. It was
Yeah.
always that kid that.
And they know this already.
Uh-huh.
It's so obvious that they know this already.
Yep. Yeah. That's
So
common sense.
they sending these people to sit into the school play, the football game, the basketball game, the baseball game, the hockey game, the volleyball game, all of the ones that shining the brightest. And they trying to figure out, how do I monetize this individual with a peculiar type of behavior?
Uh-huh.
They study you and monetize what you do to use what they call law to restrict your behavior, to compel you to violate what you would naturally do by
Mm. Mm.
violating a law. And
So
that's
they,
why I say no ex post facto law. That means no law written after the fact shall hold effect on the behavior that was prior to that law being written.
uh-huh.
An ex post facto's violation grandfathers us in under the oral tradition, because none of the oral traditions have been given up by the tribes. We continue to tell the griot stories as ghetto war stories in order to relay the information of what we're dealing with to the youth, in order for them to come with comprehensive plans to change the narrative to improve the living conditions.
Uh-huh.
So they all chasing the bag because they think it's the solution, but the bag is the carrot on the stick. The real solution is how the bag come to you when you give the world what you got of yourself.
Right. That's deep. Go ahead.
Right? So the artists come out and they come out like the chief. He dancing in public, getting the attention of the most amount of people.
Uh-huh.
While he can tell his greed stories in this particular art form. And then it'll help you understand how roses grow from concrete,
Right.
right? And then you would know how to celebrate his tenacity and his will to grow.
Uh-huh.
And then you will understand more about how we move as units, even when we separated, because we find a way to put the message on the wire for each other to connect and link back to the tribes this information that tells us how we get free. The continuity of government have been actively in process for 5 years. The new system brings the old system to a close with the shutting down of the banking system,
Right.
because the fiat money is what's deceiving the people into surrendering their wealth through a system called inflation, fractional reserve banking.
Right.
And by doing this, the people never see that their money is being incrementally stolen from them and they being taxed. What are they taxing?
Right.
Anything that you would naturally do, there is a tax on it in order for them to get paid for you living according to the way you're supposed to live. So, under the continuity of government, using executive orders, we seize all of the power companies for on behalf of the tribes of the land. Once the people start to understand this, they don't even they'll shut the system down.
Uh-huh.
So to seize the power companies give the tribes the right to provide free energy, and the only thing that would cost money is the transferring of the energy from its location to the outlet in which you surrendering the energy to. Big Mama Bank said the infrastructure is a responsibility of state government. So the
Right.
funding that's allocated to state government through Big Mama's Bank under the new system will then pay for the process of getting your utilities to your home, and you will not have a bill
Right.
because the state is supposed to pay for the necessities. So we talking about your basic utilities is light, gas, and water. The gas comes from the earth, the water comes from the earth, and the electricity can come from all of the above, right? And we can give it to the people using various means to generate it for free. And the infrastructure, the governmental, state governmental region is going to change because we can't take power and maintain the same lines of demarcation that the adversaries laid out to divide our lands up to separate us from ourselves.
Right.
So we will be having conventions around the land and discussing with the various different leaders that naturally emerge from the people to get the closest to the grassroots as possible with the solution. All this is part of the restructuring of the tribal systems because we had to talk about it because I can't impose what I want on you and you can't impose what you want on me. But
Right.
everything is up for discussion. And the thing that gives the greatest benefit is what's shared among the most of the people. And the thing that gives the most benefit at the current time is how to get them to understand that the knowledge of who they are and how these different groupings of people have been used as a scientific means to turn all people against each other. And that the daughters of ISIS come in all different shades, colors, hair textures, and they make up the different families of the earth. And some of the families got members that look like each one of the other side of the family,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
right? Because the lines of families have been crossed, been sufficiently amalgamated among the different organic tribes of the earth that everybody should have a right of ascension, which takes us back then to explaining the reverse engineering of the Yakub process.
Uh-huh.
And this is what we've been going through for 500 years. And you have to figure out a way to get somebody who wouldn't do something to do something that they wouldn't normally do, but get them to do it voluntarily.
Uh-huh.
So they use sociology or the study of the movement of masses of people. It's the same as studying farm animals. If you are good in the art of husbandry, you will make you easier and able to operate and have influence over the most amount of people. Because if you can't control the animals, you sure the fuck can't control the man.
Right.
But if you can learn the nature of all of the different animals and how each of the animals interact with each other, it tells you that as a pack animal, is certain basic standards of respect that's due without upheaval taking place or what they call a fight,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to tell the story that need to be told to free the most people. And so the chiefs sent me to talk to teach the most people what all of the other master teachers didn't taught that they didn't know how it all interconnect.
Hey, yeah, Rod, man, I want to give you your flowers right now, Rod. You the man, Rod. Cause some shit, like it's a lot of shit you done gave me that put that it's like little pieces that I done took now, and I'm seeing the whole shit now. I'm seeing the whole shit as it collapsed. I'm able to see the intricate parts of it, the little pieces that they don't show us about like why Trump was doing what he was doing, why certain shit happened on the land, why they still trying to run this. Oh, that's a question I got for you because we had 2 hours. We'll take a couple more questions, but this is another question I got for you. So now I notice they starting this thing on the land where they shooting black people in the back, the police still. They stabbing guys up. The thing with Mississippi with the six white cops that did the two black boys. They study popping, showing this black on white crime type of ideology
That's
to
that's the divide and conquer classic tool
okay.
because of the history of what's been taking place for the last 500 years. We assume from the history books that the people that was doing all that dirt was pale faces,
Uh-huh.
and exonerated the ones that came from Europe that look like us, but they ain't us. And
Uh-huh.
it made us look at them as with a sense of brotherhood, and all the time they look at us as they sworn enemy. And we never knowing that these people are standing next to us while we fighting the pale face that they put up to fight us, so we can't see them.
Damn. It's cold.
It's the divide and conquer. That's why when you go back to Neely Fuller, when he tell you everything to break the chains of white supremacy, you basically assume your God form.
Uh-huh.
Stand on your own 2 feet. Let your yes be yes and let your no be no.
Right.
Move with a noble character because the noble character naturally betrays the presence of the noble blood.
Mm-hmm.
When you tarnish the noble character, you fall to your base desires, and then you are consumed by the nature of the energy you absorbed yourself in.
Mm-hmm. Hey man, we got about 1,200 people on this joint. Everybody hit that like button, man. Everybody send Raw the dollar, man. Put them in the game. We gonna bring it back because look, it's a lot of stuff you just said in this thing that just man, you dropped a lot of jewels up in here on far as how explaining the shutdown and how it's transpiring, especially with that last little document we just played. It gave me some pieces that I needed to put this shit together on what's happening. And
Yeah,
while
it tell
Obama
you
got
in there that they are provisional government, Royal Republic government.
uh-huh,
What's it called? A Republican National Army or some shit.
uh-huh,
But he's talking about the royal family's military contingent
uh-huh,
when he was calling it the Republic Royal Guard or some shit.
uh-huh.
That's England control.
Yeah.
Remember that during the George Washington challenge, the fake George Washington was imitating the Washita born in Barbados,
Mm-hmm.
and the other uh, Albert Pike was imitating Adam Weishaupt, being the information is to control the narrative from that angle. So Adam Weishaupt is responsible for the articles of the Bavarian Illuminati. And then you have the protocols of Zion that came from the Illuminati's information. The Bavarian Illuminati is talking about a place in Europe where these people in these secret societies got together and formed a particular plot, right? And they trying to take over, and it's a what they call a Game of Thrones. And you moving people from one position of power to another position of power, and you using a merit to move them according to your leisure. It's manipulation at the highest source. That's why if they can't blackmail you, they blackball you, right?
Black
So they
ball back
gotta,
then.
yeah, because black means you on defense,
Uh-huh.
right? And anybody on defense don't stay stuck on defense,
Right.
right? So sooner or later, Humpty Dumpty gonna fall, wasted potential. But
Right.
let the big dogs come out and play, right? Don't you run down there with them big boys unless you can rump with them. I can
Right.
handle the big mama. Okay, don't you bring your ass back up here crying if they knock you on your ass.
Right?
What they say, if you can't
So
run
would
with the big
Haunted.
dog, stay on the porch.
So would be Haunted.
It's all coded in the lingo,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they tell you to put the lingo together according to the unified field theory. The unified field theory shows you that all things are connected, and then all you have to do is to know how to use the holographic view of existence and look at it from a God mind, and it changes your perspective when you realize that you the God self using the God mind to collapse creation, right? If from the field effect to the solid effect, the collapsing of reality around perception and perspective. The broader your perception and perspective, the more data that you will be able to process instantaneously, taking you from your mortal mind to your God mind. Where in your biblical references saying, let this mind be in you that was in Christ Isis, the anointed mother, queen of heaven and earth,
The
the one
IRS
who walked
Department
the
of
land of Tamari, Miss Mary,
Yeah.
and it all come full circle.
Internal Revenue Services is the Spanish Inquisition services, and they going out of business right along with the other shit that that the Pope was talking about.
So if you keep watching, the finna see the banks collapse. When the banks collapse, it's gonna cause a government collapse. When the government collapse, it's gonna cease the election because of the government being collapsed. All of it happen like back to back. And
Damn.
then it'll go into martial law, military control, and then they'll roll out tribunals. That's how I see it playing out.
Yeah, I see. I see that. I see that. What I see is I see. It don't matter who they show us on TV, like who they gonna pick. I think they gonna go with Trump because Trump he gonna go ahead and close it out. He the closer. And he closing the conjure. As far as
Look,
the
you seen
court.
Trump doing that reef ceremony, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's only for the seated president. If
Damn.
you ain't the seated president, you don't do the reef ceremony.
Yeah. See, I was thinking about that. Like, what the hell is that? Then they trying to kill this man.
They
Now, who
try
the
to
hell trying to
tell
kill this
you,
man? Who the hell
they
you think?
telling you
Bro?
openly in your face, behind your back.
Uh huh.
Because people don't know the protocols of the government. When they see stuff like that, they'll say, oh, Trump was at the reef thing. They don't know that he have to be the seated president in order to preside over that reef ceremony.
Wow. Hey, so
Right.
you think it's the same niggas he mailed that letter to and told him that the game was up? No, the Moors, the dirty Moors,
Mhm.
he mailed the letter. That's the same niggas that's trying to shoot him right now. You think, or is it all? You think it's like a facade, or act, or something they putting on? What would be the purpose of just making us think they're trying to kill him? You know what I'm
Well, you
saying?
know they uncovered the third attempt on him.
A third attempt?
Yeah, they tried to gas him. That's what they was reporting.
Oh shit, son! They out to this thing.
So he was at a public event, and on one side they had the audience divided into VIPs on each side behind him, and on one side of them, all of the people that was in so many feet of him end up going to the ER, and they discovered that somebody was trying to gas Trump. That's what
Damn.
they said, right? The second dude was the dude at the golf course that
Yeah,
was trying to
yeah,
snipe him
yeah.
and
Rock,
was
Wesley
sticking the
Rock.
barrel through the fence. Any trained sniper would not have stuck the barrel
Yeah,
through the fence.
yeah. He ain't
He
trained.
would have been right behind the fence, just out of sight of the bush, but the barrel would have been aimed through the fence.
Yeah, yeah.
But you wouldn't have seen the barrel protruding from the fence. So that's
He
how
looked
you
half
know that
crazy
these
though.
people,
He looked half
right?
goddamn crazy. Like he had a
These
tick.
people are patsies. They people that's been compelled for whatever financial reasons, familial benefits, or something to take the fall for something. that's going to have a catastrophic and historical importance.
Man.
So they take the bullet for the family or whoever the people that's left behind to benefit the reward.
And they would, if he would have shot that guy, they probably had another guy on standby to shoot him, just like they did to do that's supposed to be shot Kennedy when it was the driver. They had a guy on
Um,
standby to rack him.
Talking
Like
about
the
Jack Ruby.
yeah, they had Jack
Jack,
Ruby on standby.
yeah.
Yeah, man, we better get up out of here, man. We at the 2 hour mark, man. Like I say, y'all, we got like a 1,200 people in here. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you want, like I say, Broad don't do it for the donations, but like I say, show them some love, man, because we like they give him time to think, make them think where they don't be harassing them on other shit. Uh, yeah, hit him. Hey, y'all, we gonna be back, man. This right here was a hot one. Like every time me and Rod come on, it be hot. Rod be having some. A lot of this shit you might have to go back and listen to again, and then start taking notes, and then start going look some of this stuff up and see. You can see clearly see. I mean, never have it been made so clear that Mystery Babylon has fallen. I mean, it don't get no clearer than that. Mystery Babylon has fallen. And the only thing that's holding it up is the people that's still agreeing to the fraud. That's what it sounds like to me. Anybody that you still agreeing to all these systematic things that they got going, you will be agreeing to the fraud. The only thing about it is what we gonna do. We're gonna have to go back to the party.
It's at the verge of collapse. It's
Right,
imminent. We can wake up tomorrow and a whole bunch of stuff be going on in the news about how the shifting took place, but they probably won't be calling it that. They'll be talking about economic turmoil and systems failures and stuff like that to
mm-hmm,
try to tell you that something is going on of a massive scale and to be on standby and prepare for what's to come next. And
mm-hmm,
then they're going to be directing you to pay attention to your special alerts because they'll keep you updated on events in real time. And then the EBS will kick in with the emergency broadcast, and then they'll tell you to see what the events have been unfolding. Go over here and watch this website, and then all the rest of the websites going to be difficult to connect because it's all military control. The internet
right.
was created by the military for
That's a fact.
military purposes.
Fact.
So all of this stuff that we saying now, just notice the agents, notice the principal instructions to the masses about the instructions to the internal workings of things so that we can see how this story is going to play out, right?
Right.
So we going over the data, revealing to the tribes people across the land from the many different shades that the organic land has reclaimed the birthright and is asserting that birthright, and that eventually, because we followed the oral tradition to the letter and without fail, they're going to have to surrender this corporate fiction control back to the tribes.
Right.
And they'll have to make this publicly known so that we know that we are in the reconstruction of tribal governments across the land, and that there's about to be some changes taking place and a whole lot of shaking going on as we celebrate from coast to coast for 2025. All of that stuff is coming to fruition faster than we can see with the naked eye because we experience it in real time. But it's like it's showing itself up in phases and stages. Like they reported a couple months ago that the Fed had lost track of $545 billion. That
Wow.
shows incompetence to handle the financial function for another fiscal year from these clowns. And they're showing us the failings of the system. They've been showing us bank branches closing. They've been showing us police stations closing,
Right.
which was a response to the letter,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you seeing different jurisdictional controls being taken in certain places. All this is just showing you that these events is taking place in real time. Remember we was talking about the UN trucks
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
trains and all
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
right? Because they all remember it in the letter. It told them to take it all back,
Yeah. Yeah.
give it to the clans.
So it's the last question I'm gonna ask you, Rod, and we're gonna get out of here. Somebody asked, they said, make sure you ask Rod this question, and I almost forgot to ask you. They said, okay, we talked about the gold coming back when Trump got the gold on the cargo planes. What did they take that gold? Did they take it back to Fort Knox? Did they take it underground? Did they take it to a vault? I mean, what did they take it? That gold.
I'm not 100% sure, but I have an opinion. I believe that they would have took it at one of the underground installations in Colorado because
Yeah.
that's where the infrastructure is being secured from.
Uh-huh.
And normally, when you securing the infrastructure from a place, you guarding something of high value in the place that you trying to keep most secure.
Right.
Right.
So
So that's why I believe that um, they have the gold at the moment.
yeah, but they ain't what they ain't gonna tell us is they ain't all our gold. That was just what the percentage, like 10, like less than 2 or 3% of our. That wasn't even it wasn't even a mark on our level of gold. It's a whole city of gold underground. Man, look, they be
You
man,
remember that movie with Nicolas Cage?
yeah, yeah, yeah. National
That's
treasure. It's a whole
that's the
fucking city.
national treasure. That's Big Mama Bank.
Yeah,
You seen them go underground between, I think it was between Philadelphia and DC, and he
yeah,
found that big old underground
yeah,
cavern full of all
yeah,
that's Big Mama money.
yeah. The Knights of Templar. Look, what they ain't gonna tell you is it's a group of Knights of Templars that hold loyal to Big Mama, and then it was two fraction of them. One held loyal to Big Mama, and that's the ones that's turning this shit back over right now.
Yeah,
The ones that held loyal to the held because it was a group that held loyal to the Pope. Then it was another group that started marrying some of Big Mama's daughters, and they had children by them. So they really held alliance with Big Mama, and they show that in the Assassin's Creed in their video game of how these dudes they were coming over and married into our tribe, these Knights of Templar, and then they started helping fighting against the other ones. Because you just said that some of the cowboys and the Indians were fighting against the cavalry. And I'm thinking
yeah,
the ones that was fighting against the cavalry, there was those Templars who had came over and was allowed to mix in with us, and they were like family to
right.
Big Mama.
Well, when they came over as Vikings,
Okay. Okay.
and they was they today we call them Hell's Angels,
Uh-huh.
but that's the horseback riding nomads that was commissioned by Big Mama to roam the land as long as they stayed to themselves and kept their business, their tribal business and their clan. And
Right.
the government infiltrated them to get into their tribal business, and that's why they end up making allegiances to get from under that infiltration. That's how they was taking down their leadership. And a lot of these guys, they be saying because they bikers, they racist, and nothing could be more further from the truth.
Right.
Because some of these bikers will stick up for you quicker than some of these brothers
Right.
will.
That's
Because
right.
they didn't done it for me,
That's
you
right.
know. So some of them, they wanted to keep their tribal business in their tribes. I mean, whatever happened with the bikers, stay among the bikers, and it's not outsiders'
Right.
business.
Right.
And the government forced their way in to put their business outside of the bikers community.
That's deep.
So we all have a common enemy to get everything back to its proper balance on the land.
Uh-huh.
So those came over after they was chasing Scotta and Scotia.
Uh-huh.
They pulled them out the Abbey over there and put them on the ships and sailed them over here. That's who they was looking for when they took Sacagawea back to Europe.
Uh-huh.
because they thought she was one of those royal daughters, and they found out when they examined her, she didn't have the right blood.
Hold on, was it Sacagawea or Monteoka, Pocahontas? Because Sacagawea is Ben York's wife.
Yeah, they took her over there because they wanted to see if she was the rightful heir,
Uh huh. Uh huh.
right? And they had some kind of test that they did on her to determine she wasn't the one,
Uh huh.
right?
Yep.
Pocahontas, that's a name of an actress.
Yep.
Pocahontas means she be playing.
Yeah.
That means
Yeah.
she just playing the part.
Yeah. Her name Monteoka though.
Hmm. Right?
All right,
Because they
well,
telling you that's how the ancestors give you clues about an insert into the historical record.
uh
Because
huh.
the name they gave her was the playful one. That
Yep.
means that she's performing a play. That means she's playing a
Wow.
part.
Wow.
But through the evolution of time, we forget what the ancestors meant when they called people by certain names. Like Sitting Bull was called Sitting Bull because they was calling him lazy,
Right. Right.
right? Crazy Horse was called a Crazy Horse because his mannerisms and his natural behavior to regular people, he looked like he was a lunatic. But to
Right.
the ones that knew him, they knew he was one of those wise ones that do the Hayoka dance of the lunacy.
Uh huh.
And he tell the truth amidst the appearance of the insanity in order to get the message across to whoever is able to listen to the language.
Yeah. We
So
gave him
he
horse.
we
We gave him names like his horse won't let him ride. Because they sit out there and watch him get on his horse, and then when he get on his horse throw him off, right? And they say, oh yeah, we're gonna name him. His horse won't let him ride. Another dude, he riding on his horse, right? And his hair go in the wind. So they said his hair in the wind. That's his name. His hair in the wind. That's how we gave tribal names like that, like black, like different names. We gave names based on attributes of the person, right?
yeah,
So that's what we
so
gave.
that's Cameron. We played the dozens, and out of the game called the dozens, you come out of it with a nickname.
Wow. Interesting. That's interesting.
So the name is normally the tribal name is the name that defines your character,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So you might be born with a state name, but your nickname is your tribal name.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yep. They
Your
don't.
nickname is your tribal name. Your birth name is your state name.
Yep. So the real name is your tribal name. The other name is Strawman.
Right.
Cap.
That's
It
called
goes
your
Cap.
sacred name when you read the pyramid text. It keeps talking about calling you by your sacred name.
Yeah, they had say
Your
you had two
sacred
names.
name is
Yeah.
the name that embodies the character of who you are the best.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Shout out Indian boy.
You wrap us up, young elder.
Hey, it's a wrap, man. This right here, hey, we the hottest in the game right now. I mean, after this, I mean, Raw got 300 tapes out with nothing but per. We got so many receipts. But after this, man, I think tonight a lot of people got it more on like how this shit is falling down, like how it's like they really got it tonight. And you know how we do it. We came in with the Asiatic black man joint. Then we know how we do it because we gotta, how we gotta do it. So we gotta get up out of here, man. Y'all hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you want to show Raw some love on the Cash App, hey, go follow him on Instagram. Follow him on Facebook at Raw Hayes, right? On Instagram, I mean Facebook. You able to go live on Instagram yet again, Rod?
I'm still in Instagram jail.
Damn. But he can go live on Facebook. But hey, but
Yeah.
whenever you ready to come back, just let me know though. We can go live anytime. So we're gonna be
All right.
back, y'all. We're gonna let y'all ponder on this. Hey, bro, last thing. What you think about the pyramid? They said they got found out the pyramid down here off the coast of Louisiana. And I remember you used to tell me that there was an
Remember, I
intake.
was telling you over there under where they Saint Bernard Parish was. It was a
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
pyramid.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Now they coming
Yeah.
up. Now it's
Yeah,
popping up.
that ain't no secret. We been knew that was there. The tribes been knew.
Yeah.
And the newcomers that fish the waters know something is strange under the water over. They don't know
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
We know
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah,
power that the ancestors is embodied in the
yeah,
architecture that's under the water.
yeah, and it's coming back up now. All this shit coming back up to full blast.
Yeah. And then what did the prophecy say? That Atlantis would rise again.
Damn, there you go. There you
And
go,
what
right
else
there.
supposed to rise again?
The city of Mu.
The South.
Yeah, the South.
The South. They said the South will rise again, and Atlantis will rise again, and they both rising simultaneously. And Australia is significant. If you see the page, the cover of it say "Pacts with the Devil," and of course, somebody sent me this book last week, or a couple weeks ago, and I was gonna do the live and show y'all some of the information in there, but I thought about BDL and I wanted to work with him, and it gave us a perfect opportunity. I wanted to see which directions would the receipts take him once he's seen them. So this is where we're gonna be going into the the pacts that they made with nefarious forces to oppress us, and sometimes them nefarious forces won't work with them unless they offer up blood. The blood energy is one of the most powerful energies in the universe, and the bloodletting ritual itself is a massive loose release ritual,
Mm.
right? So it's tapping into the misery and the suffering of the person that they sacrificing or the animal. That's why kosher food is not prepared and butchered the same as our food, regular people.
Facts. Facts.
Same with halal. None of them are butchered the same because in the ancient cultures, we had a certain reverence for other species, and any animal that was willing to allow us to consume it for sustenance, right? That is the highest expression of a food stock animal.
Facts.
Our over here, our original food stock animal was the bison, the elk, the deer, the moose. We didn't eat bovine beef,
Mm-hmm.
right? Bovine beef was introduced. So once they slaughtered the bison, and those were massive rituals. The philosophy in the bloodletting ritual is that for every bison they killed an original one of us. And they even have it written in a bison dialogues in DC, which
Mm.
takes us to politics,
Facts.
right? The politicians commission people to spill blood on purpose. And
Mm-hmm.
to deceive us, they send people that look like us, but they ain't us, to ensure that we spill each other blood. There's a whole, I forgot to look it up, Bidel, but there's this cup, and it's a track record of the blood they spill for the time they here. If we
Mm.
spill each other blood, that don't go against them.
Okay.
That's why they promote us spilling each other blood. But if one of them spill our blood, they only can spill so much, and then that brings their whole reign to an end. So there's a church, old church in Europe, and this church has what's called the Grail Cup. And the Grail Cup's job is when they spill a certain amount of blood, they have to adjust the level in the cup
Mm.
to for the blood that they spill.
Mm.
So they don't use their children in the wars. They use ours
Facts.
because we spilling each other blood. They not liable for it. We are. So when we come home, we got all of these ancestral spirits of the people that we did stuff with torturing us. They call it post traumatic stress disorder,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so when we get into these packs that they made, right? This is just to show y'all that we know this ain't none of this made up. This is what they do.
Mm-hmm.
This is a how-to manual to make pacts with the devil. You want to pick it up from there, Bidel?
Yeah, and we're also going to be showing you how it applies to government and within the factions and their organizations. When you're talking about eugenics, we're going to be going into like things like Planned Parenthood. We're going to be just basically the inception point of the degradation was facilitated by Babylonian culture, which coincides with democracy, and we all. And I basically broke that down when I was talking about the secret treaty of Verona and how they created the demo system that basically created the form of patriarchy in the form of capitalism that basically applies to the Babylonian blood magic and under the Draconian Constitution and things of that nature. So right here in this passage right here, it says the pact with the devil on page 31. It talks about how they use the goat's blood. Now, that's crazy that you showed me this publication, some of this part right here, because in the movie Crow came out over the weekend. And he has a tattoo on his back. He had a goat and he had the 666 ether around it that basically applies with the devil contract, the blood contract, in order to get his loved one, the woman that he's showing on this illustration right here. So the basis of the movie is all about blood rituals.